Hello, this is Adam Began, and I'm the host of Historically Haunted Show, where I talk about some very rare historical and haunted locations that I visited. I also interview some of the very best in the paranormal and cryptozoology field. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paranormal King Radio Network. And prepare to be educated about the unknown.
Hey, historians, welcome back to another great episode of the Historically Haunted Show on the one and only Paranormal King Radio Network. We're getting close to Halloween. You know, that's about the time when people start really tuning in, and hopefully you guys stay in full year round. We have a lot of people that's been listening. I'll be at my 1 year anniversary on Halloween, believe it or not. It'll be my first full season, and then I'll start my season 2 on the radio show every Friday here at 8 p.m. And today I have a great guest, like always. Someone I kind of got in the mix with some mutual friends. As you guys know, medium Kenneth Drake and psychic medium Alexandria Sarr, who are great people. And they have a friend that I kind of get to know, and she's in her own, as far as the psychic medium goes, she's kind of in her own. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring on Allie, the psychic medium.
Hi.
How's it going, Allie?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you can join us. I know the other time you were supposed to come on, I ended up getting my heat stroke and had my heat rash, and we had to postpone. It's been about a month, so I'm glad that you were willing to deal with that, and I'm glad that you
absolutely. I'm glad that you're feeling better. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely kicked my ass.
I bet.
So I want to start off right at the bat. We have everybody in chat. Thank everybody for joining. We got Melissa Keene. We got AJ. That's Allie's husband. He's a good man. We got George Cannon, Terry York, Earl Morgan King, and of course my girl Heather, Witch and Heather Kiminiti, my girl, who has her show Witch and Life Guide here every other Wednesday on Paranormal King. So I'm going to start right off the bat, Allie. Obviously welcome you to the show, but I want to ask you, how long have you had your gifts? How old are you when you realized, oh shit, I can do something special?
Yeah, so I was born with my ability. I don't really know life without it. Throughout my adult life, it did develop and get stronger, so I'm more familiar with it now than I was when I was a child, obviously, but seeing spirit and feeling spirit and all those things is like breathing to me. I really don't know any different.
Right. I love how a lot of mediums, almost every medium I talk to, and I'm willing to bet most of them don't know each other. Maybe they do, I don't know, but everyone calls it spirit. They always refer to spirit. Yes. And that's what really makes me know that stuff's going on here. Like, this is real deal. And that's pretty cool. So you were very young. I just shared a picture of you in chat holding your daughter. For those you can see, that's her with her young daughter. She's very modest, doesn't have a lot of pictures, so I got a couple good ones that I could to promote her. But anyway, I digress. I went off the subject. So let's talk about your gift and when it came to you.
So as I got older, I started to pay attention more to the things that I was experiencing. When I was much younger, around the same age as my daughter is now, my parents were noticing that I was talking to things that they couldn't see or that they couldn't hear. And the most significant experience that I can remember from my childhood involved my great-grandfather, who's now passed, but we were coming up the hill in a car from his house, and I remember turning around while I was still in a car seat and kind of just like looking out the side window, and I told him that his mom was driving up behind us, and I explained what kind of car they were driving and all of that, and he was not a believer, so to speak. He was very skeptical about everything, very logical. So he was shocked when I said those things because I had never seen a picture of her. I didn't really know anything about her. So it really blew his mind. Yeah.
So I was kind of, not to cut you off, but I mean, that's what I do. But real quick, I got to say, and just to bring this on before I forget, so I think it doesn't really run in your family then, because your mom didn't seem to understand, correct?
So It does run in my family, but however, I never have really had a great relationship with my mother. So she was always one to like disregard anything and everything that I felt. So she knew, but I think that she just didn't want to accept it, if that makes sense.
It does, almost a protection, so to speak. Like, oh, she's got this, because it is a gift, but
Mhm.
as people say, the old school, it's a curse, because you can't exactly shut it off if you wanted to.
Exactly.
You're kind of
Exactly.
assigned this now. It's your purpose in
Yes.
life. And of course, your husband, your kids,
Hmm.
your support friends, they all have to know this and understand this. Otherwise,
Yes.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
can be a strain. I get it. It's like
Yes.
your husband being a cop for the FBI, going out and chasing miracles every day. To an
Exactly.
extent, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind
Exactly.
of
It
tricky.
is. It is. Yeah.
Heather shared your tag, Allie, the Psychic Medium, Facebook and chat. Thank you, Heather. It's in Blueprint.
Thank you. Thank
And for
you.
those of you listening, please check her out. Where else can people find you? I'm going to ask you at the end too, but for now, for
Sure.
those listening now, where are you at?
Yeah.
Oh, are you on TikTok and YouTube and stuff?
So I do have a Facebook page as well as my own website. If you just look up AllieThePsychicMedium.com, it should take you right to my website.
Yep. 2.2 thousand followers. She's got her own personal page. I'm sure, obviously she is married with a child, and she's not going to just anybody in her life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you want to get a hold of her, because you do offer services, I see you do share a lot of
Yes.
blessings and good
Yes.
readings. You talk about
I do.
cards. What are your services that you offer through this?
Yeah. So I offer a variety of services. Right now, I'm sticking to just like psychic insight or life coaching sessions is what I call them, is basically where I can see into issues in your life that you need guidance on and help you to make the right decision. I can't make them for you, but I give you the tools necessary to guide through the difficult times that you're having. I also have medium channeling sessions, which is essentially me connecting to a loved one of your preference. I am not an open channeler, meaning that I have to have someone specific that needs connected to. So I just, for me, it's more comfortable to do it that way, and it works out a lot better. That's just how my ability is, and it works a lot better that way. But as of right now, those are the two main services I offer. But on my page, I offer interactive readings. It's basically like a free sample of my readings. And I pretty much always have something going on, whether it's a tarot reading or a psychic reading or a medium reading.
Wow, so you're kind of all over, because my girlfriend Heather, as of course, witch, and kind of goes by the witchcraft thing. And of course, as you know, it's not the whole potion bubbly, even though that's cool. But a lot of it can be, a lot of it is almost, honestly, if people don't admit it, but being a psychic medium is basically a witch. I mean, that's a modern day witch. And I think if you, like with Heather, she took some courses from Cindy Garza from the Holzer Files online, and she's trying to come into her own, and she's reaching her own talents, and it's cool. Of course, she's friends with Alexandria Sarr, who you're great friends with,
Yes,
and
I love her.
medium Kenneth Drake.
Yes, love him too.
Yeah, and they spoke very highly of you, and of course, I kind of knew you, but not so much. And then I dive into your daily posts are very awesome. You have some humor and some stuff. Yes. I saw someone was kind of rude. I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, I deal with assholes all the time. So
I love it. Yeah, you can totally fucking swear on here. We're good. I'm flipping and throwing, so we're good.
I'm glad.
What do you say to people that call this stuff witchcraft or uba juju type? Or they kind of give you a hard time thinking you're hurting people by trying to help them. You just don't pay them no mind, right?
Well, see, I'm not one to keep my mouth shut. I'm not good at that, but especially when it comes to my ability, because it's like the one thing about myself that I know is authentic and that I can do good with. But I find that the people that say like the witchcraft thing or like you're going to burn in hell or whatever seem to all follow the Christian faith, which I have no problem with. I respect everybody's beliefs. We're all entitled to that. I grew up as a Christian, so I can totally understand and relate. However, there's something that I've uncovered over time trying to find a way to explain to those of the Christian faith that it's really not that way, because if you do thoroughly read the Bible front to back without a biased mind, you will find that there are multiple occasions with Jesus and disciples and everybody else that have had exact encounters with spirit. They're communicating with heaven and the other side, and they're talking to God, talking to spirit, talking to angels, meaning that medium capabilities have been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And if Jesus and the disciples and all of these others were able to communicate with spirit, then why is it evil that people are doing it now?
Wow. You just schooled everybody. Check this chick out. Seriously, she's dropping some knowledge. Not only is the Bible almost a horror movie, but dude, Moses is on the mountaintop and he's writing the commandments, talking to the sky, and that's word and gospel because come on, you're right. And that's why I stopped telling people I'm a paranormal investigator, aka ghost hunter. I just say I'm a historian. People look at you a little bit better like that. They don't look at you like, oh, you're a Zach Baggins. Like, oh, of course, yeah, I'm a douchebag with too much ash. Oh my God, yes. Okay,
love that.
So. But that's cool that you explain it like that. And at the same time, it sucks taking the energy out to explain it to the haters because you're still not going to care. Right. But to say that, Allie, that's killer. I mean, Heather's my girl's next to me, Heather. She's smiling. She approves. Because it's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Why not? Yeah, I love that. That's very cool.
Thank you.
And I love that you're very open to like just the spirit confrontation conversation.
I personally kind of like it. I like it because I like to argue. Really? So.
That's cool. That's cool. But you dabble in all the other stuff too. Like you say, you do the card readings. You do dowsing rods or anything like silly like that. I say I don't mean silly in a bad way. I guess.
No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Because Heather uses them, but I don't want to get hit. But I mean, do you dabble in that?
I have never personally dabbled in that, but I do. I just started in tarot, so I'm not like an expert by any means, but it does fascinate me. I think that all of these vessels that we're able to use aside from our being are so fascinating because, I mean, what works for one person might not work for another, and then vice versa. So it's just really cool that we have this diverse amount of, these tools to use anytime, any place.
I agree. Oh, you're spot on. And the thing is, like tarot cards, dowsing rods, kind of the darker side of that medicine, of that, you know what I mean? But I mean, I've always liked the crystal ball myself. But I mean, I just like palm reading is cool. Do you dabble in palm reading? I mean, you seem like you're willing to explore any avenue once you get there, Reiki, all that stuff.
Yeah, I've never done that personally. I know that there are plenty of exceptional mediums that do palm readings. I am interested in all of it, but yet, like, I would not say I'm skeptical. I have a very logical thinking process, which is weird because I'm a medium, but I like to dissect everything, and everything that I do with my ability, I want to see it, I want to feel it, I want to hear it, I want all of it to make sense to me. And if something doesn't make sense to me, it fascinates me, I learn about it, then I try it. So there are a lot of things I have not dabbled in yet, but I would love to.
And you're right into the psychology of it, which to me, I was just actually talking to Heather the other day, like even just ghost hunting or just the history, just trying to analyze the people that live there, why they did what they did, why they ate what they ate, why they killed their wife, or the people that are there now and why they do what they do. Psychology is a big part of life.
Yes.
And it's fascinating to think. Like serial killers, man, I don't want to kill 15 people or strangle a bunch of women. But the Boston Strangler, I went to his grave in Peabody, Massachusetts. It's very intriguing. Anthony DeSalvo. This guy killed 13 girls in Boston. And do I worship him? No, but it's intriguing to me that he actually thought that was okay or just thought he could get away with it. It's all very odd. Do you kind of follow that stuff, like the gangsters and serial killers and just the oddball?
Yeah, I do. I would say that in a way it's very, I'm trying to find a good word for it. I don't want to say fascinating in a way where serial killers fascinate me, because that's not the thing, but it's like the psychology behind it all, and like how someone's brain can develop in a way, and the chemical balance in the brain and all those things to make them act so differently than a normal human being, or however to classify a normal human being would be. It's just, I would say that I very much do follow like documentaries about serial killers and so forth. I help police departments very often with missing persons and cases of that nature.
Very awesome.
Thank you.
Well, see, that's what I'm into too. Like, I actually go to the serial killers' victims' graves because I feel like they're the ones forgotten. I went to the Allenstown 4. You ever heard of them? The chameleon killer in New Hampshire. No. Oh my God, he buried 4 bodies in these barrels in the Bear State Park in New Hampshire. One of them was his daughter, and one was his wife, and 2 other ones were unknown girls. And I went to their grave sites. It's in Allenstown, New Hampshire, the Allenstown 4. He got the chair in Texas after getting caught 20 years later. But it's not that you like these people. You just think to yourself, how can I look out for these people so I'm not their victim? Like, what enthralls this dude, John Wayne Gacy, to be his town council and his school board and go home and kill boys and put them underneath his floorboards dressed as a clown? Fucking mind blowing.
It is. It really is.
Melissa Keene has a question. That's awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Allie, how are you? She says, do you focus on readings? And also, do you investigate haunted locations besides, I guess, with the police, so to speak?
Thank you for your question, Melissa. So I have not paranormal investigated in a very long time. I used to be extremely involved in that. I would volunteer with any paranormal team that would take me, but I would love to get back into that. For right now, yeah, I am just kind of focusing on readings and so forth.
Oh, very cool. Are you? I gotta ask this. Do you happen to be going with Ken and Alexandria on their little tour, because they're coming to Danvers, Massachusetts in October, and we're gonna have a table with them. We're gonna go to Salem. Oh, we're gonna go to Salem after. Oh, that'd be cool. To say we could all go to Salem.
Oh, that would be awesome. I wish.
Well, if you're ever in New England or Maine, I always say this to all my guests because I mean it. I'm a stone throw away. I go to all the Stephen King filming sites. I just got back from the Pet Cemetery house yesterday when Edward Gaines got killed. Oh, dude, the girl on the porch is drinking a tea, and I'm like, hi there, just recording. Fucking walking down the street. I'm like, this is the house where the truck kills Gage. Like a morbid person, but I love all that stuff, and I see that you're open to that too. I'm gonna go off subject a little bit. We got plenty of time. Sure. What's one of your go-to for meditations or just to get pumped?
Yeah.
Either way. For music.
So I personally I am not good at meditating. Like, that's just not something that my brain will allow me to do. Now, there are times where I have to put myself in like a meditative state so that I can connect, like with missing persons cases, for example. I have to put myself exactly where they are, which means I have to deprive all of my senses to do that. So I have to cover my eyes and my ears, kind of like in Stranger Things when Eleven her eyes have to be covered and her ears have to be covered with, it's very similar to that.
Not to cut you off, but you get full, like the police, you'll figure something out, and you'll literally get, okay, this is a so-and-so, she's a female, this is the age, this is where she was, and you just try to, wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
That seriously that's crazy.
Thank
you.
I appreciate
you just zone right out, and you just focus on the info, so to speak, and
it's something that I would say, out of my ability, that's one of the biggest blessings I've been given with it, because that is how I want to use it. I want to help people. I don't want to just use it to just do it because it's fun, because I mean it is, but there is so much I have the ability to do and help so many people, especially in situations like that where there's really nowhere else to turn, to know I'm able to help bring somebody home, or in some cases bring their body home to their family. Like, that is something I'm so passionate about, and I'm so grateful for that.
That is one of the most modest answers. I love it. I mean, everybody wants TV time. You want to get paid to do what you do. Of course, we all want to get paid. But at the same time, that's why I'm in the Warren Legacy Foundation as a historian, to learn the history of these places, to help people. I don't get paid to be in that. Like with you, I mean, you do your card readings a little bit, maybe to give a couple bucks. For the most part, this police work, you're finding this because you're a human being, and this is where your heart is.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I love that. That's amazing.
Thanks. But for music, I love Green Day. I love Blink-182. I would say I like a little bit of everything, but my favorites are either NF, he's a rapper, Green Day, or Blink-182. Those are my favorites.
It's pretty dope, old school alternative. Yeah, I grew up with Green Day and Blink-182 and Dookie and all that shit. Oh yeah, very cool. That's cool. I like that. So, what about as far as like most? I don't know. I mean, also you don't do really investigations, but what do you go to for a good meal? What's your thing if you need to unwind, or if you just like, I need to have a good burger or a good rib or a nice salad? Like, what's your go-to?
So I love steak. So I would say steak and like really, really, really good loaded potatoes. Like, of those.
Don't like my girl Heather. She's a steak girl, man. Loves it blood rare.
Yes, I can't do rare, but I do love my steak.
That's cool. That, how many girls are like, well, I like a good, wrap, and I'm like, don't bullshit me. Come on, now, get in there, girl. What's up? That's dope. That's cool. That's cool. So you got your man, AJ. Shout out to him. Listen, you've been Mr. Bennett. You've been with him for a long time, it looks like.
Yes.
And he's been. Does he have any gifts too, or is he just kind of open to you doing your thing? And he just is like, well, my girl's this. That's it.
Thank you so much for asking about him. I don't have a lot of people ask about him very often, but he is such a significant, an important part of all of everything that I do. Because if I didn't have his support, I would not be able to do this. It just wouldn't happen. But He doesn't have an ability like I do. He is more, I would say, telepathic, which means he is able to feel other people's vibes and like can sometimes
Ooh,
almost feel their thoughts as if they're his own. Um,
wow.
he has to kind of be in the right mindset for it, and he's not really one to be open about it unless he really needs to be or wants to be. But when we first started dating, which is well over 10 years ago, he and I had completely different views. He did not really believe in the paranormal. He grew up in a very strict Christian household, so that was like really taboo to talk about or even think about.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
the first time he ever actually saw me see something, we were in a church and we were playing hide and go seek in a youth group. And we were sitting in this dark room, and like I just looked up at the wall, and my face completely changes when I see stuff. And
Whoa.
yeah, that happened. And I was looking at somebody who's like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And I just saw like a shadow crawl up a wall, which I see shadows all the time. And he was like, I think I scared the shit out of him, to be honest. But as time's gone on and we're married now and have our own house and our child and everything, like to him,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's just the thing that I do. Like he doesn't, I mean, there are times that spirits literally like knock my water bottle over while we're talking, or just like random stuff that happens throughout the day. And I'm like, oh, that's just so and so, or oh, that's just
Oh,
this. And
I
he
love the
doesn't care.
pictures, man. I love it because you
Yeah.
guys are together, you three, you got your daughter, and there you are talking to ghosts. No one would know looking at you that you
Yeah.
guys are fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Weirdos.
Thank
We're all
you.
weirdos. Let's face it, in
Yes.
this field.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
to be, but we
100%.
understand. And
100%.
AJ's very modest, very quiet. It's a little bit of abilities
Yes.
there. Can see auras and stuff, so to speak.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. I know you're in chat. I know you're probably quick. Hey, goes boots. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I never forget that. He says, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Chat.
I'm
Very
sure he
cool. Glad
won't.
you. That's you. Sure you won't. She says that's very cool. Heather says, yeah, I got called a bloody vampire often. She likes her steaks blood red. That's my girl.
That's
Melissa
awesome.
Key, another great question. She says, Allie, what information do you have to do a reading, or what do you need to do a reading? Well, she said earlier, but we can say it again. On
Yeah,
Facebook, you just pretty
absolutely.
much message her
Yeah.
Allie the Psychic Medium page.
Yeah.
ALLIE, not
Yes.
ALLY.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I do a medium reading, because every reading I do, I need different information. But when I do a medium channeling, I need a picture of your loved one. And there's a very good reason for that. So the reason I need the photo is because every picture that we take, every video that we take, everything we touch or that involves us, we leave residual energy. Even if it's the smallest amount, we leave it. So when there's a photo of somebody, that has a residual energy thumbprint in it. And what I do is I look at the photo of the person that I'm connecting to, and I pay attention to how their energy feels. And then we start like exchanging energy back and forth until it builds up enough where I'm able to just ask them forward, and then I can see them or hear them like they're in the physical world again. And like for a psychic reading, I just need a picture of whomever I'm doing the reading for, because I again have to channel into your energy directly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Everybody's got this little thing. Sometimes people need like an object or someone,
Yeah.
or sometimes people need like just the name. I mean, it's a little thing. And trust me, man, when you get, I haven't done, Allie hasn't done a reading with me yet. I'll have to get one sooner than later.
Yeah.
But trust me, because I've had some from other ones before, and when they say certain things, your fucking mind's blown. And it's the real deal. There are some copycats. There are some deceivers, just
Oh
like
yeah,
anything else.
absolutely.
But there's some real deals out there, and you roll with some very highly respectable people. Not that's what you're not in their shadow. You're Allie the Psychic Medium, regardless. but with the help of them, I get to discover you, and I'm glad I did,
I'm
because you know
glad.
your shit.
Me too.
So
Yes, thank you.
killer. We have a little over a half hour to go. We still got many more things to talk about. You guys have great questions. I'm going to throw some in there. You don't have to give me the exact town, but what state or like whereabout are you located? Just curious.
I live in Illinois. I live in central Illinois.
Oh man, I'm a big Chicago's Bears fan. I got a tattoo and everything. What's one of the coolest places or historic haunted places in that state that you've been to since you've been there?
Yeah. So in my area, there was a state hospital or psychiatric hospital that was called the Bartonville State Hospital. And this place they did not treat their patients with any respect at all whatsoever. And my great-great-grandmother was actually put in there because she had medium capabilities. And so as soon as I started getting in touch with my own and becoming familiar with all things spirit, I was determined to learn everything I could about that place to kind of, I don't know, maybe give her peace if I learned about it or whatever it may be. So I have been there in person twice. And the 2 times that I went, it was a very intense experience. It has since been torn down.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a bummer. I really wish they
shoot.
wouldn't have, but it was intense, man.
Oh, wow. I mean, especially you, psychic mediums. I mean, and even your man. I mean,
Yeah.
with his gifts, I mean, you feel the sorrow, you feel the
Yes.
pain. I mean, I walked
100%.
into St. Albans Asylum in West Virginia where they did electroshock therapy and ice tub
Oh,
therapy, and
gosh.
I fucking almost lost it.
Yeah.
I thought I was crying. I don't even feel like I have super abilities. I'm definitely an empath. I mean, if I see a
Mhm.
homeless guy in the street, I start crying, man. I can't watch
Yeah,
Screaming
yeah,
Gnome without crying. So
absolutely.
I'm either been depressed my whole life or I'm
Mhm.
an empath. I don't know. But
Feel that.
but that's wild because going back earlier, you mentioned your great grandfather or something about him, right? So
Mhm.
is this the same wife? Is this his wife?
So my great great grandmother would have been his mother was actually the first spirit I
Oh,
ever really saw and communicated with. She was who ended up at
whoa.
the state hospital. Yeah, so it kind of all came full circle.
Wow. That's,
Yeah.
you can't make this shit up. Are you writing a book? Do you plan on writing some sort of
Oh
novel in
gosh,
some
I would love
time?
to. I would love to. I love writing as it is, so I think that as soon as I have the time to really put everything I want to into it, I would love to do that.
That's killer. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just your past alone and where you started, and God only knows where you're going to be going from there. Do you have any sort of thing planned? Do you do public speaking or little, like, do you do, I don't know, like not meet and greets, but do you go places and talk, little conventions or anything coming up?
So I do not. I wish that I did. With the way that my husband's and I schedule are, we both work from home full time while we take care of our child. So
Yeah,
it's very rough. But as she gets older, it's getting a little bit easier for me to plan things like that. And I did have a meet and greet last year, and it was amazing. I was so grateful for everybody that came out to that. But in the
that's cool.
future, I would really like to start doing that more, or holding little events like that.
That's cool, especially where you are. I mean, I've driven to Iowa, which is right by Illinois, actually
Yeah.
through Illinois,
Hmm.
and the Midwest has got a lot going on as far as conventions go. And of course, when she gets older, people love spooky guys' kids, and I mean spooky in a good way.
Well, that's
But you know what I
okay.
mean? Like we went
Yeah.
to the first Warren convention last year, the Warren
Right.
Con with Ed and Lorraine's daughter
I
Judy
love
puts
them.
on with Tony, and there's people there, and they get their kids running around in little Ghostbuster outfits. It's a cool little community, I
Yeah.
think. You
Yeah.
know, we're not your average book clubby parents and stuff, but I mean,
Right.
we got
No,
our
not
own
at all.
world too, and
Yeah.
you embrace your gift, and I think people embrace that. I mean, you don't have 2,000 followers for fucking nothing.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
um any bucket list for you? Is there any place you'd like to go in the next couple of years,
Oh
like
yeah.
Salem, Gettysburg, New Orleans, or
Yes.
anything off even
Yeah.
besides that?
Yeah. Actually, I would love to go to Salem, and Maine as well. It's just been something that me and my husband have always wanted to do even before like I really dove in and became a public medium. Like that's just somewhere I've always felt drawn to. I would really love to go to Norway as well because I have a lot of heritage from there. So I would be down to go about anywhere because I haven't traveled very much in my life, so I'm pretty much open to anything.
Sounds like you're drawn to the nautical side. Norway with the Vikings. You got Maine with
Yes.
the sea captains, pirates, and mermaids. I know there's mermaid
Yes.
sightings in Gloucester, Massachusetts. They've been seen
Oh,
off the coast.
that's
I mean,
awesome.
just different shit. And you seem like you're open. I love. There's so much stuff in New England between the Wendigo and of course spiritual stuff too. We have so many monasteries and spiritual
Yeah.
retreats and just. Oh
Yes.
boy, yeah, I think you'd love it up here. I know you would. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm
Nothing
sure.
wrong with Illinois, but
No, I
that's
hate
cool.
Illinois. It's okay.
I mean, it seems cool. I mean, but it just seems like it's
It's
over.
very boring.
I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, you got H. Holmes' Murder Castle was there, and there's a bunch of cool shit I'd love to see. But
Mhm.
something about New England. You seem like you're an old school type person. You and
Yes,
your
I am.
husband would like kind of the old history we have to offer here.
We do, yeah.
Um, yeah, it's pretty well. I think you'd almost be overstimulated though. Do you ever feel that? Do you take
Oh
grounding
gosh,
stuff?
no.
Do you sage and stuff? You must.
Yeah, so there's a lot that I have to do to ground myself because my ability has days where it is overwhelmingly strong, and then there are days where it's just kind of meh. But on the days where it's very strong, everything feels so much louder than it really is. And there are even times where I feel like I can't see straight and I'm really dizzy. And I mean, my husband knows exactly what I'm talking about. There are days where I feel like I'm not a person. Like, I don't really know how to explain it because it makes me feel so disoriented. But it's like when we go to the grocery store and things like that, I'm an introvert because of my ability, because I don't really like to be put in situations with a ton of people around me if I'm not prepared for it. So like going to the grocery store can even be difficult for me because I'm not just feeling spirit, I'm feeling everybody's energy too. And I'm constantly like paranoid that, I'm going to walk across somebody that has really bad energy and then that's going to get attached to me or whatever. So I try my hardest to kind of forget that I have an ability when I need to, because that seems to be the only way that I can kind of just be Allie for a while, because there are days where like I need to just be me and not just a medium. So whenever I can, I do. Saging, for whatever reason, gives me horrible migraines. So instead, I use black salt, which is something ancient and that has been used for a very long time to keep negative energies and any kind of malevolent force out of wherever the black salt is sprinkled. So that is something that I use. I use a lot of crystals too, specifically like obsidian. And I use music to ground myself because it's something that I don't have to relate to my ability. It's just something that I just enjoy and I can focus on rather than, listening to meditative music, which could instantly make me open up even more. So as long as I have chocolate, coffee, and music, I'll be good.
I was, I mean, it's funny, and there's nothing wrong with that because people go, "Well, geez, that's selfish." Well, no, it's not really, because if you're not Joan of Arc, okay, you're not Jesus Christ. You can't put everybody's needs ahead of yours every second of
Exactly.
every day, especially when you have a child and a husband. That has to
Exactly.
come first. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, you can't shut your gift off sometimes, but you can stand your ground and say, "Not now, spirit, not now." I don't.
Exactly.
And that's why you imagine going to Walmart and dealing with the living and the dead while you're trying to fucking walk through
Exactly.
Walmart.
Yes.
That's it. I got to be
Yeah.
really high. Give me some edibles because this is gonna be a long fucking day.
Amen.
So you got to lay the line, and people go, "Well, how can a psychic?" You know what's funny? A lot of psychics are introverts because they deal with so much. Why do you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like some asshole goes by that thinks life sucks and wants to steal, and you're feeling that fucking negativity. Next thing you know, you feel sick. You feel like you
Yes.
just had a Burger King and you
Exactly.
got to take a shit. Like it's my
Yeah.
stomach. It's
Yes.
horrible. Yeah, I don't mean to be
Yes.
graphic, but you know what I mean. It's
Hmm.
I know what you're saying. It's not all glitz and glamour. People love
Not at
psychic
all.
mediums and
Hmm.
they go, "Oh, it's cool, show worthy." No, man, it's
Yeah.
you didn't really sign up for it. You just got
Yeah.
it, and you got to roll with the
Exactly.
punches.
And I'm a huge
So
advocate for that. I absolutely despise the people that, I wouldn't even say people, just the group that people put certain psychic mediums in, where it's like this is all just for attention or all for just money or whatever it may be, because if I had a choice at the end of the day, I would not have chose this. It chose
no,
me.
yeah,
And I say that because this is something that is so difficult and hinders my life so much that people don't understand that. And I don't expect them to understand that because you don't and you won't unless you have it. So I hate the whole like, oh, your crystal balls and all that. Like it's cute. Like I like it for like decor and stuff like that, but like to associate my ability with crystal balls and like things of that nature, I don't like, because I'm really just a normal person, or as normal as I can be, with the ability to see dead people. Like
yeah.
I wish that people saw it more as like a skill rather than a hobby, I guess.
Almost a public service because you don't
Yeah.
have to help people. Even if
Mhm.
you just charge them because it's like if you're good at anything, you charge. That's what it is. You're not gonna mow someone's lawn and go, I think it'd be nice. It's
Exactly.
like, no, give me $10, please. I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
thing is, you're not Dionne Warwick. You're not doing phone lines. You're not on fucking. You're not. I'm not gonna name drop people, but you're not that guy on TV and stuff. It's no,
Yeah.
seriously. You're not trying to sham people. You're very
No.
modest. You got a living, and you
Hmm.
do it a little bit because it's not really on the side. It's your whole life,
Yeah.
but it's kind of on the side, so to speak, as a side, not hustle, but if you're gonna help people, dude, you damn right, it's worth something, man.
Yeah.
Paranormal investigators charge money, researchers charge money, people that mow the lawn charge money. Why? I've been in that fight a lot, and people think that you should just read your cards for free and give you your fortune for free. No, that's not how that works. If you don't like it, just don't pay for it. Don't get it done. Simple, pimple.
Amen.
So good for you, girl. I'm glad you fucking put people in their spot. I saw that post. I'm like, what a dick.
Yeah.
They cut you off that service Yelp or whatever the fuck. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not even worth
Absolutely.
But anyway, I'm getting all wound up now. I have a couple of beers. I'm smoke a drink, calm down. So, what do you do in the meantime for fun? I know you got your kid. Of course, you got your man. What do you guys do besides paranormal type stuff? Do you guys like to go camping or whatever?
I'd say hiking is something that we enjoy doing most as a family, because if I am out of the house, I really like to be in the woods or in nature, wherever I can be where there are not a lot of people. My daughter actually has been showing signs of being a medium as well, and a very strong medium at that. So she also gets very overstimulated very fast. So it's best for us to be like, in situations like hiking where there might be a few people, but there's not a ton of people. My husband and I really just prefer to stay home, to be honest. Like, we just want to watch movies, or I love playing video games. My favorite video game is Halo.
Name drop killer, do it up. Yes, you're a Halo girl.
Yes,
that's killer. Yeah. I used to play Modern Warfare a lot, Call of Duty and shit.
Yeah. My husband used to play that one. Yeah.
Oh, he did? That's cool. You see, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, me and Heather will go to movie filming places and sites, but we don't go with 15 people. I always post 5 days later because I don't want people showing up. But for the most part, like, we're at home watching wrestling, documentaries, movies, taking a nap, whatever.
Yes.
So that's cool. And I think woods is great, so to speak. That's kind of meditation, honestly. That's kind of grounding for you guys, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go out there and you kind of get lost and you look for chipmunks and what have you, and you kind of just forget about traffic lights and 5G and fucking. That's cool, man. Too many people get lost. Do you kind of follow a little bit? Not that you practice it, but do you follow the old school, like voodoo, Santeria, maybe the old Celtic pagan ways? Because that's kind of ties in with some of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah. So my husband and I, we are pagan. And I almost hate saying that we follow just one religion, because I believe in bits and pieces of all. But if I had to fall back onto one religion, it will always be Norse paganism, because I am a direct descendant of Björn Ironside, which is one of Ragnar Lothbrok. He's a very famous Norseman. That's his son. So this has been something that's been in my family for a very long time, and so I will always respect and follow my past. But
which is why you said Norway. For those of you listening, this is Viking folk. This is Leif Erikson's people, so to speak. This is before Christopher Columbus and Abenakis. The Vikings. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's killer descent, and that's where, honestly, Christmas, everything else started with the Celtics and the pagans, or before Christianity. Christianity was spawned from that, but you know that. Anyway, go ahead. That's cool.
Yeah. So as far as like voodoo or Santeria or anything of that nature, I do not dabble in. I would say it's because I don't know enough about it, and I'm very respectful of others' cultures. So I don't want to dabble in something I don't know anything about, and that I kind of feel like I don't have a place to. I am also indigenous on my mother's side. I'm related directly to Chief Redbird. He's really well known. So I kind of have really awesome heritage on both sides of my family, and I'm really proud of it. So I kind of stick to those as my roots.
You got literally like the battle supreme. You got Vikings versus old school natives, dude. Yeah. You could survive any. Don't fuck with Allie. Wow, that's killer.
Yeah.
So your husband's got descent too. He follows the pagan.
Yep.
Type,
yeah. Wow. He I don't believe that he has it like in his blood that we know of yet, but he follows along with it as well. It's something that he's always felt drawn to. He's an amazing artist, and he loves to like describe runes and everything, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Where can people find his work? Does he have his own personal YouTube? Let's plug him.
I wish that he did. He won't listen to me about it, but maybe now that he hears this, he actually sketches. Listening. Yeah, he sketches spirits for me to give to people that maybe have lost babies that they didn't get to see them grow up, but in spirit I can see them older. So he sketches them, and we'll give that to the families. We don't charge anything for that either.
He's a telepathic paranormal sketcher.
Yeah.
Once you get a YouTube thing or Facebook thing, you're gonna be my guest. I'll have you on by yourself. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
AJ, that's interesting shit. Which reminds me, people love their dark shit here, so I gotta ask: you dabble with Ouija boards or dark arts at all?
I do not, but I do know a lot about it. I know a lot about demonology. I would
What's your
say,
scariest case? What's your scariest? I mean, you must have read. People love the fucking scary shit
oh
here.
yeah, it's okay. I do too. So I grew up in a house that was very fucked up.
Yeah.
It would not look like it on the outside, but it was on the inside. It was a
Oh,
new construction home, but it was built on a swamp, which was also connected to a Native American burial ground.
oh,
And so it was just
every
kind of like, yeah, a cesspool for terrible things to happen. Um, and there were so many occasions where we had demonic activity in our home, to the point where we had a paranormal team come, we had priests come, we had pastors come. For the 12 years I lived there, I felt like I was in prison. Um, Not only because I had abusive family members, but also because I was fighting something that other people usually don't have to, which are things you can't see, for, a normal average everyday person. So the scariest thing I would say that I've ever experienced was in that house. And I was working with the paranormal team that was in our house, and they knew that I had medium capabilities. So they were kind of trying to see what I felt while they had their medium feeling things too. We were standing at the top of the staircase in the house by my bedroom, which was the most active, of course. And the paranormal investigator said, "You need to go downstairs right now." And he said, "Because this thing's going to attack you." And it was like around that time that I felt like something demonic picked me up. And I say demonic because when I looked down at what was picking me up, it had long, like animal like claws, and it was all black and like almost furry, like picked me up,
whoa.
threw me. And when I was thrown, I was instantly brought back downstairs. So I don't recall walking downstairs. I don't remember anything between the time of when I was thrown until I was downstairs. But yeah, that was the scariest thing I've ever experienced.
You had a lapse of time. Literally, you lost
Hmm.
you lost a good almost 10 seconds there, and
Yeah,
you can't recall
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Do you think this thing's still with you?
Oh God, I hope not. So there's,
Well, I mean, like I say,
um,
you did said earlier you have rocks and gems, obviously for show, but you must
yeah.
have some that actually like azurite and all that good stuff that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
protects you, right?
Yeah, I strongly keep myself protected as much as possible. My family has what we believe is some sort of like curse, and it's been going on for an eternity, and it always is associated with the number 3. And it just seems like whatever this thing is that's been with my family for centuries just will not let go, and it's evil, and it tries to find ways to, cause depression or isolate you or remove you from people that you care about, or be active in a way where they're doing, terrifying things like throwing things across the room, which has happened. And it's
Wow.
just, I feel like I am the one that's supposed to break whatever the curse is, and I've been trying so hard to do so. And I think that we're making progress because there is a spirit also that's attached to this whole thing that I call Shadow Man. He is somebody that followed my mom, and even before that too, that he is exactly how he sounds. He is the shape of a man, but he's all black. You can't see through him. Now, there are cases where shadow people really are just spirits that are not fully developed, so you can't see them like that. However, he is not. He is absolutely not a human being and never was. So that's how I know the difference. And he has followed me everywhere I go. I see him probably twice, 3 times a month. And every
Jesus.
time I see him, something really bad happens, or somebody close to me or close to somebody I'm close to dies. And one of my closest family members that was 100% Native American, she was like spot on about predicting when people would die. Like she would try to keep people from going out and doing things so that they did not end up dying. And
Wow. 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 Wow.
yeah, she was right every single time. And I feel and believe that Shadow Man has some sort of correlation to her, being able to predict that, since he always shows up when death's coming or something bad is coming. He has never hurt me. He's never hurt anybody around me. He's scared the shit out of us a few times. Even my husband has seen him. But
whoa, that's a little too close now.
Yeah.
No, well, riddle me this. Do you think, like in most aspects, like the Mothman or Nain Rouge, not trying to compare this entity to
Sure.
a cryptid, but when they show up, danger comes. People believe they're not bringing the danger; they're possibly there to warn you.
Yes.
Do you think he's there to warn you, or do you think he's the bringer of the doom?
No, I don't think that he is here to hurt me at all whatsoever. I mean, there have even been cases where he's like kind of saved my life in a way. So I would definitely say whatever he is, he's not here to hurt me. And I thought for a long time that he was, but I don't anymore.
See, people associate that when they see things. They go, "Look at that, he brought it." And sometimes they're there and they try to warn you. Sometimes family, friends, cryptids, deceased, whatever. I guess it depends on how you decipher. So that, like, at first I'm thinking this fucking guy's bringing the heat, but then I'm thinking, well, no, he's a protector. He's trying to warn her and say, "Hey, be careful." But what can he say, right?
Exactly.
So it's almost like he's not a guardian angel, but he's almost like a second thing that you just can't shut off, I guess. You obviously protect your daughter about this stuff. Have you mentioned to her? How old is she? She seems like she's younger.
Yeah, she's only 3.5. So
that's tough to kind of.
Yeah, but she's had some experiences with me that, I mean, I can't doubt. And like I said, I look at, logical things before I jump to it as paranormal or anything to do with spirit, just because that's how I am as a person. So I'm making every move I can to make sure I do that with Iris too, because I want her to know spirit exists. We have abilities. That's a thing. But I also want you to think logically, because it's good to have that balance. But there are times that I cannot deny that she's having an experience. Like when I do my readings, when I'm communicating with spirit, I'm literally just doing that in my living room. I'm not doing it anywhere fancy, because I trust spirit and I know spirit doesn't want to hurt me. I don't want to hurt them. They're not going to do anything to my environment. So there will be times that I'm just chilling, doing a reading, working. She's running around playing, and then she'll just run up to me and be like, "Who's that man?" Or "Look at that man." Yeah, I mean, there have been times where she said names. She's been saying a word that a spirit just said to me, and so I can't deny that. And it's pretty crazy.
And at 3.5, you're just learning. You don't know. You're not watching movies. You don't go, "Oh, it's a dead guy like that movie." She don't fucking know. That's the innocence. Like animals, they see stuff we don't see, especially it's heightened by then. And let's face it, Allie, it's kind of in your blood work. You're going back centuries, am I right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and
who knows about your grandmother's grandmother? You don't know past your great grandmother, do you? For all you know, you got a fucking shaman in the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
180 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, spirits have been around. This has been around since New York. Of course, you've heard of the Fox sisters in New York in the 1800s. Then you get, of course, God love her, Lorraine Warren. You get all these people coming. Oh, she's a godsend. And of course, you get all these people there under. I'm not going to name drop everyone, but it's alive and well. And of course, you got a couple phonies, but you got someone's out there, and you can tell you're genuine. I mean, you feel this shit, and you.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, to get talked to with the police about missing people, God forbid, it's not exactly a badge of honor, even though it is something you want to pronounce because you don't talk about it. I didn't know that, but that's killer.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to speak about, but I did just finish helping find a missing person today, actually. I still don't know how much of what I picked up on, led them to where this person was, but whenever I am able to help and able to do that, I don't even know how to explain how it makes me feel, because it makes me feel relieved, because I feel good that, they were found and they were able to be brought home, like I said earlier. But I also feel like guilty, because I'm like, okay, well, what if I would have known, 7 days ago and I would have been able to stop it? And it's kind of like,
you can't. I mean, that's rough. I mean, you can't be everywhere. You're not fucking Professor X.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's what I was going to say. It's kind of like how, like when Spider-Man, has the whole, it's great power comes great responsibility, because you could beat yourself up all day if you're not saving people, like just not saving the world, but the few people that you're able to save, like that matters. And I have to remind that of myself all the time.
Spidey's fast as fuck, but if he's at a hot dog cart on 4th and 18, and he's gonna get to the Brooklyn building in 10 minutes to save someone, what's he gonna do? Throw his meal away? Of course he is. Throw on his fucking suit, through some webs, get there, miss it by 10 minutes, just like a doctor. It's like a Pet
Yes.
Cemetery when he goes to save the guy and he can't
Yes.
save him. You beat
Yeah.
yourself up like with you. But
Yeah.
like, how can you do? You can't be everywhere at once. You do what you can do. And honestly, the shit that you're stuck seeing is kind of like therapy shit. Like you're kind of stuck with things that you don't need to
Yes.
see with having a daughter and a husband. You're gonna go home at night going, oh, I saw this kidnapped kid.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's not luxurious. It's not
No, it's not
glamorous
at all.
No.
Exactly. And that is like one of the things that I have strived to bring to light as a medium, because not that other mediums don't, but I feel like it's just sugar coated. A lot of it is so sugar coated, and I am not a sugar coating person.
No.
I am a genuine, authentic person. I am able to tell you exactly how it is, exactly what I see, and exactly what I experience, because if I'm experiencing it for somebody else's loved one that's died, who am I to keep that from them? And, it's not my loved one, it's theirs. So I'm going to be open and honest about everything that I experience. But I mean, there have been, and there still are, lots of visions that I've had, or like, for example, like when I was talking about earlier, when I have to literally put myself in the place of that missing person to find where they're at, which means I feel everything. Like my physical body feels everything. My mental state feels everything. I know I'm still me, but I still feel all of those things. And there have been multiple instances that have stuck with me that will for the rest of my life, that I have nightmares about, that, I mean, I do go to therapy, and my therapist actually used to be one of my clients for my medium work. So
Get out of here.
God thank God she believes me. Otherwise, I'd be heavily medicated, I'm sure. But
I got a therapist that I'm sure sees two therapists and drinks because of me. So I get it.
I'm sure mine does too.
But I mean, the same time, you're doing what you're doing. Like you say, you got a gift, and between dealing with life as a mother and a wife, which is exhausting, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
No offense to the husband or nothing. It's just obviously life is exhausting between Corona and everything else everybody's been through. And then you add on the dealing with what you deal with, and God forbid, even though if you tell the people the good news of finding the body, it's still bad news because they're dead regardless. And is it really good? So it's rough. And so so enough doom and gloom. Heather goes balance with all in life. You're right, Heather, Community Witch. And Betsy Brown Williams joins us. She hangs out with the Searchers, Shane Pittman and them, and Josh Purvis sells her merch. She says hello, joining us a little late. Well, she was listening, but she just chimed in and chat. Good to see you. We got about 10 minutes left, guys. Ask some questions. We're talking with psychic medium Allie Bennett, or Allie the psychic medium, I should say, up on Facebook. Allie, what's one of your what's one of your go-to for movies? You into horror movies? You into comedies, romantic things, or documentaries, or whatever?
Oh, I love all movies. If I wouldn't have ended up being a professional psychic medium, or however you want to label that, I would have definitely been a film writer or director. Like that is something I've always loved. But I would say that like psychological movies are my favorite, because again, I love to just kind of witness what the brain is capable of. I think that it's fascinating. So anything like that. But I do also love horror movies too, all the old school ones.
Well, we talked earlier about how I went to Stephen King's Pet Cemetery House, which of course,
love Stephen King.
Excuse me, he didn't direct, but of course he's the author and writer, and you respect that and stuff. And I said, if you come to Maine, I'll definitely show you some of the cool sites and stuff, the cemeteries and all that good shit. So that's very cool too, because actually I'm driving real quick tomorrow. I'm going to New Hampshire to the Silver Scream Con, Inch 9 Kills or Ice 9 Kills is putting on, and I get to meet Gage, Gage, the guy who played Gage, who got hit. I get to meet Hellraiser, Jason Voorhees, the original, the new Mike Myers from the new Halloween Kills and Halloween Dies. Mike Myers. Oh, dude, awesome. Daniel Harris, a bunch of people tomorrow, so I'm gonna be doing that. Stay tuned, guys, for pictures, because that's pretty wild. Like I said, I love the real shit, but you gotta have a little bit of fantasy, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You must
100%.
Do you binge watch anything as far as series go? I know you mentioned Stranger Things earlier. Yes. You're into that stuff?
Yeah, that's just like one of me and my husband's favorite things to do is binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu or whatever it may be. I would say that's our favorite right now. We just finished the entire thing, so we're trying to find something else to watch. But there have been, I would say within the last 4 months, we've been binge watched like 10 shows. So,
wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one of my favorites.
I recommend, what's that outlaw movie about the gang, the bike gang? Gangland. I think it's on Tubi. It's free on Tubi, I believe. And it's about
Ooh.
this dude that is he gets caught for meth. So they tell him,
Mhm.
we'll infiltrate this bike gang in California, this Hells Angels type club,
Oh, wow.
and we'll let you go. And he joins it, and they see people kill people. If you like bike gang type shit, it's kind of a gang thing, but it's a lot of
Ooh, that's
psychological
interesting.
shit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting. I recommend Gangland if you get a chance. Don't yell at me, but I haven't started Stranger Things yet. I still haven't started fucking
Dude.
American Psycho or American Horror Story.
It's okay. I've never seen American Horror Story either.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's tough to keep up with all this shit.
Yeah,
half
it
the
is.
time.
It is. We were like, oh, we're never gonna watch Stranger Things. Like, it's probably okay. But then we watched it, and we literally
It's killer,
watched
huh?
every
It's like,
season within
I
like
hear
a
that's just
week.
monsters and
week.
ghosts and aliens and creatures and just
Yeah.
fantasy, and it's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah, it
I'll
is.
check
It's
it
crazy.
out.
It's based off a true story too, which makes it even more insane.
Oh, of course it is. I love based on true story
Me
shit.
too.
Man.
Me too.
Cool. We got about 5-6 minutes left. Let's plug some
Sure.
stuff again. Where can people find you for readings and just for current info and what you're up to?
Yeah. So I am the most active on my Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/ALLIE the Psychic Medium. Or I have my own website, which is AllieThePsychicMedium.com.
ALLIE, guys. No ALLY or EY.
Thank
It's
you.
ALLIE. Just so everybody know. I know people go, I couldn't find it because no one wants to
Yes.
try a different way. So it's
Yeah.
ALLIE the Psychic Medium. And I believe it's her with like a butterfly type thing. It's just a lot of positive, good stuff. Talks about how to get a hold of her. She's very modest, nothing super crazy. Shit, yeah, we got about 5-6 minutes. What do we want to talk about? Is there anything we haven't yet? Shout outs or anything?
Oh, let me rack my brain really quick.
Think fast. No, like I said, I have a podcast, which is a visual podcast on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And maybe one day I'll get you in Alexandria on, have you both on or something with
Oh,
Heather.
that'd be awesome.
Psychic mediums, witches, and a historian.
Yeah,
Something.
that sounds great. I would love to do
That'd
that.
be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. But for now, like I said, I'll always have you back on. I'd love to have you back on. It's hour by quick.
Yeah.
We can go a little bit over since we started a little bit late, about 2 minutes late. So we technically have about 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
I want to get to know Allie. Let's see. Okay, let me see. What's your future plans after the child gets older? Do you plan on maybe collaborating with her, going on tours maybe when you're able to, writing a book? Like, what do you see yourself in about 15, 20?
Yeah. So No, it's not a weird question. I would say that in the future, I definitely don't want to publicize my daughter's ability unless that's something that she decides that she wants to do, because as a kid, my own mother, like I said, she would be supportive when she wanted to be, and that would typically be when she wanted to use me like a cash cow. So I don't ever want Iris to feel that way. And I did write a children's book called The Magical Gift. It's available on Amazon. It's only like 99 cents. But I wrote that, dedicated it to Iris, because I never really had anybody that explained to me, the real power that is behind the ability that I have, and just anybody that has that kind of ability. And I wanted to make it in a way where it was more directed at children, because that's when it's the most active. That's when it's the most, prominent, is when we are pre-puberty, and I want her to have that as a resource when she gets older. But I do want to write a book like about my life and about everything I've experienced as a medium. And I really love science, so there are a lot of things about science that contradicts mediumship, and there are a lot of things about mediumship that contradict science. And I've kind of made it my favorite thing to find the middle ground. And I found a lot of things that make sense with science and with spirituality. So I would love to even just make a book about that too.
Yeah, you're one to kind of go for the myths and legends and really be like, okay, I want to believe, but I want to make sure it's the real deal. I don't want to believe in bullshit like rainbows and unicorn shit and stuff.
Yes.
That's killer.
Yeah.
I can Betsy Brown Williams says, I'm joining in late. AHS is awesome, and I'll follow you. Allie, I'm following you now.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here.
Yes, and she asked a question. She wants to know what your favorite color is. I imagine she assumes like aura. Like, what do you feel like for colors that is like the brightest to you or makes you feel the best?
Purple. Purple is my favorite.
I grew up liking purple, and then I got made fun of as a kid, so I switched to orange. But I've always loved purple.
Purple's badass.
Almost lavender, not almost like that light purple, where
Yeah.
it's like, excuse me, I'm taking a big hit of cut, edit, excuse me. But I get some purple bud right now. It's legal in Maine. I got my med card.
It's okay. It's
But
legal here too, and I support it.
that's cool. That's cool. It's my thing. Ever since my mom passed away in 2019, I got a med card. Helped me with my stress and depression.
That's okay. I smoke
King.
too.
Oh, that's killer. Ross Rapazzo King, who says, great show. You're a great guest. He's glad to have you on. Glad to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so
He
much.
wants to know if Allie thinks that Edgar Cayce, C-A-Y-C-E, was gifted. And is there any other medium she considers to be the real deal, past and or present? I don't know who
Ooh, I like that
Edgar.
question.
Good question, King. I don't know who Edgar is. Maybe you know.
I have no idea who that is. I can Google it really fast. What was it again?
Edgar Cayce, E-D-G-A-R. King, let us know who Edgar Cayce is, and first answer who you consider the real deal. I guess almost like who do you look up to? Who's your guru as far as this goes? That's a great question.
So
Great question, King.
I just found Edward Cayce, and I believe I've read a little bit about him.
Ooh.
I will say that he kind of kickstarted mediumship and all of those kind of things, but I think eventually, like, the fame and whatnot really got to his head. But I do believe that he was legit at some point. I don't know about the entire time, but I do believe that he was. I really look up to Lorraine Warren, bless her soul.
God bless her.
Even as a child, like, I was always really drawn to her. I love how respectful she is, but I also love that she was a badass and would fight demons like it was nothing. So
And she put people in their spot. Like, we're called kooks. We're called weirdos.
Yeah.
We're ghost hunters and fuck off. I mean, she didn't swear God love her. She'd make you brownies, but she knew what was up. And that's cool that you connect with her, because honestly, that's what got me and Heather started. And we drove to 2000. After my mom died, 2019, we did a night with Annabelle, Monroe, Connecticut. And we met Chris McKennell, the grandson, at the house. We didn't go inside the occult museum, but we got pictures outside. We went inside the house where Lorraine designed. Got to go to the attic. Oh yeah, I got her jewelry and everything. I about passed. Oh, Allie, I about passed out. Me and Heather, we couldn't believe it.
I bet.
It's pretty wild, and that's cool that you acknowledge that, because if it wasn't for people like her, we'd still be considered kooks. Not that we're not, but I feel like she kind of opened it. I know the Hollywood thing, people make fun of it, but I think Annabelle helped create psychic. And do you agree? I mean,
I think that the Warrens specifically brought a whole new light to everything spiritual related. Like, I agree with you. I do not think it would be the way that it is now if it was not for the Warrens.
Yep, they paved the way.
They
So
really
that's your go-to. See, I thought it was the Fox sisters, but I guess Edgar came out before them. So, I mean, let's face it, we've had shaman and tribal doctors and witches and God knows, like you say, for your pagans, for God's sake, you guys fucking know what's up with all these old school. I mean, all that stuff has been around. Shit, that's killer. We're kind of running out of time. Got about 4 or 5 minutes left. I keep saying that because I can push it a little bit. There's no one really right after me. I don't want to take up all your time, but I feel like there's more to talk about. Betsy says that she felt pink or purple with you. Betsy's kind of psychic a little bit, so that's cool. Terry York says, great information, great guest. Everybody in chat, thank you, Terry.
Thank
Earl
you.
Morgan, great show. Great show, Allie. Thank you, Allie from Betsy. Many blessings to you.
You too,
great show,
all of you.
Adam. Oh, killer, they're loving you. Heather Witchin, my girl, Kim Aniti. She says, Allie, oops, I just lost my screen. And she says, Allie, you are such a sweet and kind soul. I respect your hard work. The universe is tough. People like you are so needed. Bless you and your family.
Thank you so much.
Heather Kim Aniti, my girl Witchin. If you get a chance, send her a friend request on Facebook. She does her show. And we're into finding good people, because life's too full of arrogant pieces of shit, pardon my language.
Yes.
And I'm down with finding people that just want to help and be cool and chill. Sit down and have some popcorn in a movie, and I'll see you next month or next year or whatever. No, we don't need, right. Oh, man, this was a pleasure. AJ says thank you. AJ, you're the man, dude. Thank you for supporting this wonderful person, this wonderful soul. She's more than a woman. She's a soul, just like you. You guys are raising a beautiful child. I'd love to have AJ on when he gets a YouTube channel. There's a little platform.
Yes.
Allie, we got about 2 minutes left. Anything you want to talk about? The mic is yours. You want to shout out to your daughter again, your husband, friends?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to talk about my daughter and my husband.
Awesome.
They have just made everything about this so much easier for me. I feel confident and comfortable in all of those amazing things because of them. If my husband would not have pushed me to push myself into everything that I have, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have helped nearly 10,000 people. So I everything I do, he is a humongous part of that. And the only reason I don't talk about him more on social media, like on my page, is because he's kind of shy, so he doesn't
He won't
really.
let you.
Yeah. So yeah. But other than that, he is my everything.
Oh, AJ, I fucking love you, dude. I owe you a beer or a joint or a steak or whatever the fuck you like.
Oh, we're done.
You're a cool dude, man. Dude, seriously, I try so hard to support my girl and her beliefs and her show, and I tell her she's a great girl and she loves it because women need support like the guys do. Obviously,
Yes.
you support him, he supports you,
Yes.
and it goes hand in hand, and that's what
It
makes a
does.
power couple, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah.
Shit, this was killer. This went by quick.
Yeah, I love it.
AJ Bennett. I'm sorry, AJ Bennett. What's her husband? Allie Bennett. Allie the Psychic Medium. It was great to have you on. I'll have to
Thank
have
you
you
so
on
much.
again.
I would be honored.
Awesome. I'll have you. This will be uploaded tomorrow on Spotify, iTunes,
Yeah,
Mixler,
exciting.
and on my YouTube channel. I'll make sure and tag you in some shit in Facebook.
Okay.
Damn,
Perfect.
this went by fast.
You
Cool.
did.
Earl Morgan, thanks for joining. It's kind of late now, but thanks for joining up. This will be up tomorrow, guys. I was talking to Allie Bennett, or as ALLIE, the Psychic
you.
Medium. Thank you so much, Allie. Thank you, historians, for the watching or listening to the Historically Haunted Show right here on Paranormal King Radio Network every Friday. I'll see you next Friday, 8 p.m. Allie, say goodbye to everyone.
See ya. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a great day, historians. Allie, my guest, thank you so much
Thank you,
for coming
Adam.
on. And Ross, that was awesome.
Thank you, Ross.
Get out there and explore, historians. Enjoy the world. Take care. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Adam Began, and I'm the host of Historically Haunted Show, where I talk about some very rare historical and haunted locations that I visited. I also interview some of the very best in the paranormal and cryptozoology field. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paranormal King Radio Network. And prepare to be educated about the unknown.